clairvoyance is clear seeing. Okay, so we're going through some of the senses here. Clairaudience is clear hearing. Yep. Claircognizance is, anybody take a guess?
Clear brain?
Knowing. Clear knowing.
No. Something to do with the brain.
Clairsentience. This is actually the most common one.
Is that like your gut feeling?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Your
it's not
physical
scent
feeling.
related. Not scent related.
No, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
Clear empathy, clear emotion.
Ooh,
Just
I haven't heard of
common
that one.
for empaths. Yeah, that's one that a lot of people haven't heard of.
Because
here's an
usually people only talk about 5 of them, right?
Yeah, 4 to 5 are some of the biggest common ones. Yeah, but we're kind of going on the fringe a little bit tonight because it's fun to do that.
Yeah.
Clairgustance. Do you know what that is?
Smelling.
Clear tasting. Yes.
Oh.
What is that? Is that weird or what? Claire's aliens. That's a weird one. Clear smelling.
Wait, are you sure?
Oh, that's what that's called?
No, I get them confused too. Do you think clairgustance should be the smelling one?
Well, I actually did like a little bit of research, and some girls said that clairgustance was smelling.
No, that one is the tasting. Clairalience is the smelling.
So someone needs to correct her, I guess.
Somebody probably needs to correct her. Yeah. Clear intellect, clear thinking, and clear tangency. This one's fascinating. Clear touching. So you know the medium Tyler Henry.
Oh, yeah.
He touches objects and then he gets information through the objects.
Ooh.
So that's a really interesting clair. So all of these clairs are things I'm sure all of you listening have experienced 1, 2, 3, maybe all of them at some point in your life. So we're going to kind of discuss what they are, how they show up, how to strengthen them, how to learn to listen to them, what it's like to develop these different parts of our psyche. So a couple of things. Psychic. This is really interesting. So psychic denotes faculties or phenomenon that are apparently inexplicable by natural laws, including all the clairs. Okay. The Greek word for psychic is psychikos, meaning or of or belonging to the breath. The Latin word psychicus is meaning, and the English word psyche is the human soul, mind, or spirit. Which I thought was interesting. I always like to look at the history of a word, kind of all the different
The roots of those words.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at psychic and you look at psyche, the human soul, right? This is something that's innate in all of us. Yeah.
So which
Ryan?
one's No, you go ahead.
So Ryan asked if it has anything to do with mental health. I don't think so.
No, there is one the clairaudience, where you will hear kind of inaudible voices, and sometimes people with a mental health condition, maybe like schizophrenia, that's where it can kind of cross the line. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. But no.
So yeah, some people who hear things might be wrongly diagnosed as being schizophrenic because they have that psychic ability and just don't understand it.
Definitely. So let's talk a little bit about clairvoyance, probably the most misunderstood clair of them all. So this term, a lot of people use this term with the term psychic. If you're psychic, you're clairvoyant. But clairvoyance is actually just a tool within the psychic toolbox, which I think is really interesting. So the gift with clear seeing is that you receive information through images, through your mind's eye, which is here where your third eye is. So we'll kind of cover where the information comes in through your body. So if you're clairvoyant, you're seeing images, mental, physical, you're seeing images in your mind's eye. So not necessarily out in front of you. A lot of people think that if you're clairvoyant, you're seeing ghosts. Not necessarily. A lot of times clairvoyants will see things as metaphors. It's not always
not always a straight translation.
Yeah. So one of the things with being a clairvoyant is being able to identify and discern what the images mean in your definition. So if you're seeing something in your mind's eye, like a rose or a bird, what does that mean to you? It may mean something completely different to you than it does to me. So strengthening this, Claire, really helps you identify what that means. You've probably heard that before, where people are like, oh, I saw this in my mind's eye. Well, your definition of that might be very different than my definition of that.
Yeah,
you hear that from other like medium shows, right? Like the Long Island medium, right? She says, I saw a white rose, which to me symbolizes friendship or whatever it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What were we going to say, Burley?
I was going to say, it's like symbols are.
Yeah. And the symbols mean, they can mean something very different to everybody. Yeah.
So that's similar to dreams, because we talked about that during our dreams episode also, that
we did. Yeah.
Symbols mean different things in dreams. So how does clairvoyance and dreams kind of like, can you be clairvoyant in your dreams?
Yes. So people who have a very strong clairvoyant ability usually are vivid dreamers. Mm-hmm. They get very strong visions, very strong mental images, very strong dreams, very strong. A lot of things will play for people that are clairvoyant in kind of a movie fashion, like an old school movie where it's clip after clip after clip.
Oh, interesting.
Doing things in a progression. Everything is always, if you are a visual learner, there's a good chance clairvoyance is a big clair for you. You will daydream a lot.
I am just like resonating so much with this right now.
Are you finding out that you're clairvoyant?
Vivid dreams, I have to visualize to learn it. Daydreaming, yes. ADHD.
Yeah, you often will see things move out of the corner of your eye, right? That's very common. You may be able to see glowing lights or auras around people. Some people can visually see an aura around somebody. Another thing that's a strength of somebody who has this gift is the ability to see things like fit together, like a puzzle piece. It's very clear visually how things come together. You're also very, very good at dreaming things up, like in your head, coming up with these elaborate plans in your head, which I think is interesting. Here's another really interesting thing and a really good way to strengthen your clairvoyance. Ooh. People who have a strong clairvoyance gift are really good or have a really good sense of direction. So one of the ways you can strengthen this gift is to, you can play a little game, but you can travel with somebody to an area you don't know. They could, close your eyes while you're going there, and like an area you've never been to before. Open your eyes, get in the driver's seat, and don't use any maps or any.
They'll be able to drive back to where they were.
Yep. Yeah. Which is actually a really great way to strengthen it, because you use your clairvoyance, mental pictures, mental images, mental symbols to get your way to where you're going. So images in your mind's eye might be literal, so they might actually be true, or they might be completely metaphorical. That's important to know.
Interesting.
And like sometimes people think that you have to close your eyes to be able to see it, right? But you can see it with your eyes open.
You can see, yes, you can. Yeah, absolutely. It's strengthened Yeah, it can be when your eyes are open or when your eyes are closed. To strengthen this, Claire, though, meditation, closing your eyes,
a lot of visualization, I imagine.
A lot of visualization, a lot. Let's see here.
Now, so Jackal's asking if it can include remote viewing.
Yes, absolutely. So I took a remote viewing class years ago, where we worked primarily on our clairvoyance, and then we did a whole section on remote viewing, and that was all done. That was all done in a deep meditation setting. Remote viewing is fascinating. If you've never,
what is remote viewing?
Taking a target. So remote viewing its history goes back a long time ago, and the federal government actually has a whole remote viewing program where they used to legally spy on our enemies. There's Ingo Swann, and I'm trying to drop some names here that are people that you should research remote viewing on. But anyways, you take a target, usually a set of numbers, and then you focus on those numbers to try to remote view to that location. And the numbers absolutely mean nothing to where the location is. But based on the target, you can, and people who have honed this ability can get right into exactly what's happening, whether it's, in an army base, or, you can see what people are doing. You can see what.
That sounds like a superpower, honestly. That sounds made up. It sounds like a made up Marvel superpower.
It's fascinating. I had a really hard time with it. I could get close to some of the targets. Like I was seeing things that were around the target, but I never landed right on what the target was. Like, I remember one of the targets was the Statue of Liberty. And I was seeing the skyline in New York, and I was seeing the Hudson River, and but I never saw, and then I would see parts of the Statue of Liberty, but not. Yeah, it's fascinating. So it's a skill. It can be honed. It can be learned. It can be strengthened. But yeah, our government uses this really to spy on people.
My brain is connecting it to Battleship or something like that.
Yeah.
The game Battleship? Oh yeah, I like that. B-41, Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
That's funny. I that one.
Well, it's this is random. You know how, like, you have a jar of gumballs and people have to guess how many gumballs are in the jar, and then if they win, so I have a tendency to be good at that. Is that clairvoyance, or is that just not related at all?
I guess talk us through how you figure, like, what's your process? Do you use like a mathematical process, or do you see a number?
Math and I are not friends. No.
Okay.
I literally will just look at it and a number will pop into my brain.
Okay.
Ooh.
So I did that with your dad's one of the ALS golf tournaments that we did.
Oh yeah.
And there was like a guess how many golf tees are in this jar, and then you'll win the jar of golf tees. Well, I guessed it exactly, which was stupid. I don't know how I guessed it exactly.
Wait, right on the money? That's crazy.
Yeah. It was like 313 or something. I won the jar of teas. Like, great. I don't know.
That's funny that you bring that up, because I was at a baby shower or a bridal shower a week ago, and there was like a jar full of kisses, and you had to guess how many kisses were in there, and I won.
Nice. Yeah. Were you right on it, or did you just?
I guessed 113, and it was 115.
Very good. So, okay. So back to your question. If you saw the number, that would be clairvoyance. If you heard the number, that would be clairaudience, which we'll talk about in a second. If you just got a knowing, I just know it's this number, That's usually claircognizance.
Okay.
But if you visually saw a number and
I just knew.
So you're probably combining a couple of different clairs, probably clairvoyance and claircognizance. Because that's the thing. They very rarely work alone.
Oh, Galaxian, I've tried to translate it to the lottery, just has not worked. It just hasn't worked.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's funny.
Wait.
Win the lottery with me, babe.
What's that?
Yeah, no kidding.
What? Oh, I did win the lottery. Never mind. I win. Never mind.